Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about energy production. We're going to be looking at United States, some of the states that have a lot of energy you can build a Bitcoin farm at, and going to be looking at a lot of the energy that's actually produced in Russia and looking at how their energy production is contributing to an increase in taxes, increase in business activity, and just an overall increase in money supply, especially in those regions where money supply is more tight. It's not in those metropolitan cities, but out there in the cold Siberia, generating good amount of money there and just have a better way of life. We're talking about that in today's video, comparing that specifically to like North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, areas that are not, up there like New York, or up there like Washington, D.C., more of like middle America, especially in those cold areas where, again, money supply is tight. And when you have nice Bitcoin data centers out there, you provide those great jobs, high-tech jobs. You have good tax revenue coming in for the counties, for the city, for the state, and it just helps out a lot more than if you would have that same mining in a state like New York, by the way, which it can be done, but only in certain sections of New York. It's not going to be done in Manhattan, that's for sure. You're not going to put 100 megawatts there. But anyway, today's video, we're going to be talking about that. So if you think that's interesting, hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, go to cryptollc.org. If you're looking to build a Bitcoin data center, you're looking to build one out in the United States, maybe in those same states I just mentioned, like North Dakota, Wyoming, South Dakota, Kentucky, Tennessee out there as well. A lot of great areas where you could potentially have your site. So go to cryptollc.org. We also sell and buy miners. So if you want to buy some miners, sell some miners, you have an existing farm, you're looking to sell some miners and upgrade to newer ones, we have that available as well. We have one of the greatest prices in the industry, and so we can help you get rid of those old ones, get some new ones going as well. And don't forget to download our firmware. We have firmware in the description. So if you have some Bitmain miners, like L7s, Bitcoin miners, S19s, S21s, you can install our firmware there. It increases your efficiency. You can watch our video, by the way. Search our channel. You'll find video with instructions on how to set that up. So check out our site. And before we get started, Bitcoin saves your wealth and Jesus Christ saves your soul. So make sure you guys have one and the other. Bitcoin is great to have, but what's the point of Bitcoin when you're dead, right? It's not going to help you then. So that's why we tell everyone, Bitcoin saves your wealth and Jesus Christ saves your soul. All right, let's go. Today's video, we're reading an article, and this article is from Bitcoin.com. Title of it is Putin recognizes Russia as a Bitcoin mining leader, explains his stance on energy distribution. So I want you guys to really, read this article and try to analyze it like from the perspective of their energy grid out in Siberia, and just think of, especially if you're like, the area a little bit, or you did some research on Siberia, you would know it's very similar to like North Dakota, South Dakota, things like that. There are some big cities out there, like Irkutsk. It's pretty big. So there's really nothing comparable in North Dakota, South Dakota. All those cities are smaller than Irkutsk. But if you just go out there, further out, those little villages, things like that, and smaller cities, they're very, very similar. So I want you to picture that and see how this benefits them a lot. So Putin recognized Russia as a Bitcoin mining leader, explains his stance on energy distribution. President Vladimir Putin has referred to the Bitcoin mining capabilities of Russia and the causes that make the country a fertile ground for the industry during a speech offered at the Eastern Economic Forum. I think this is the one that's in Vladivostok. I think that's the one. Might be wrong, but it's the Far East. So basically, he's at that location that he's referring to. Very close. Putin acknowledges that Russia had become a leader in this industry due to the abundant energy resources available in its regions. According to the Russian portal Izvestia, Putin stated, Russia is today one of the world leaders in mining, and this is due to the surplus of energy capacity in Siberia. Okay, and this is a true statement. They are one of the leaders. Basically, the two leaders in the world today is Russia and the United States. The They have the most amount of mining. The hash rate's coming out of there. I mean, before it was China. Remember that? Before the China ban, before the Chinese made a huge strategic mistake of banning Bitcoin mining, China was the world leader. They had 50% hash rate. I remember that when they banned it and the hash rate just dropped hugely. Very, very cool times back then, because the hash rate just basically switched to everybody else. We made a lot more money as soon as China banned it. But anyway, Bitcoin mining Siberia explaining that however, Putin warned about the possible effects of the proliferation of Bitcoin mining in Siberia, explaining that other uses for this energy were also relevant to the country's development. Mining is good, but the construction of housing, industrial and social facilities, and the supply of electricity to plant production facilities is no less and perhaps more important, he stressed. Now imagine if a United States president like Biden would say that. He would say, Bitcoin mining is good. We need to have that available in the United States, but we also need to take care of housing, all that stuff. But imagine if he just said the words, Bitcoin mining is good, you know? But right now you have a lot of people in the Democratic Party that hate Bitcoin and they want to ban it. They want to get rid of it. They want to stop mining because they think that if you're using power on the grid, that somehow this is taking away power from someone else, which is a very simple-minded way of thinking. It is 100% wrong. If you're going out there and you have a area that has 200 megawatts available power, it already has a 200 megawatts. They're just sitting there. And they could have been sitting there for the past 20 years doing nothing. It's just sitting there, 200 megawatts. So if you have a power company, I mean a Bitcoin mining data center being set up that's going to use all 200, that's good. That's revenue for the electric company, that's revenue profits for the state, the city. Everyone is better off. But you have this simplistic, I would even say like very envious, communistic way of thinking where it's like, well, if you built the farm, that means you took from someone else. You didn't take from anyone. It's just sitting there. There's like 200 megawatts just doing nothing, sitting there. And that's the exact situation that you have in the United States. You find those areas. You find areas that have 100 megawatts. It's literally just sitting there doing nothing. And the power company can give it to you for a great price. And they're still making a lot of money. And then you have this increase in revenue, which means increase in taxes. That power company pays their local taxes. They pay their state taxes and all that. So everyone is better off. But again, envy, hatred, all of that is very, very bad way of thinking. It's like a mindset. It's kind of like a communist mindset people have. And a lot of people have that. They get mad. You get mad at Jeff Bezos for being a billionaire. It's pretty sad. But anyway, back to the article. Just I put my phone away. Should not have put my phone away. Okay, mining is good, but the construction of housing, okay, and so on, no less, perhaps more important, he stressed. According to reports from the director of Industrial Mining Association, Sergei Bezdyelov, Russia produced 54,000 Bitcoin during 2023, bringing over, check this out, bringing over 550 million in taxes to the nation. 550 million in taxes to the nation. Wow. That's just taxes. So how much money was actually generated there, right? If you take that 54,000 Bitcoin that was created in 2023, I mean, that's probably 54,000 registered creation of Bitcoin, meaning I'm sure there's a lot of Bitcoin mines out there that were mining under the radar, that were mining Bitcoin and they weren't reporting it. Imagine all those smaller farms, maybe like a megawatt, half a megawatt, maybe people mining from their home. Again, those areas, especially in Siberia, you can have a house and you have power coming in. Literally, the power is almost free. It's like almost free. It's like 2 cents or 1 cent or free. It's basically free because a lot of those power plants, nuclear power plants, are produced during the Soviet Union. They were produced for the people. It's a different way of creating infrastructure because a lot of it was produced for the people. And what I mean by that is that when they were designing those nuclear power plants and things like that, they were making it with the idea of having the power be so cheap that anyone can afford it, and it's basically borderline free, and there's so much of it. The Soviet Union put a lot of money into infrastructure, and there's so much of it that it's just sitting there, and just like Putin said, it's just sitting there, it's doing nothing in Siberia. So you have all these data centers coming out there, and they're building 100 megawatt, 200 megawatt, 500 megawatt, gigawatt power data center, bringing over all this tax. So another thing to keep in mind when we're looking at that 550 million in taxes is that in Russia the tax rate is 13%, I think, 13, 14%. And so you have the same situation or the same laws there where you can write off your expenses. And so all these data centers, they're obviously not paying that 13%, 14% tax rate. They're paying a lot less than that. And if they're paying a lot less than that, then just imagine what that number actually is, right? They're reporting 550 million, but it's probably in a couple of billions. And then also keeping in mind, like I wanted to bring this all back to North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, is all of that money is being paid also to local taxes, right? Local governments, counties, regions, whatever it is. So now you have an influx, right? An injection of money into those regions that was not there before. And now all of a sudden you have 550 million. I mean, how much is it? How much of that was in Siberia? Probably a big chunk of it, maybe like 70%. So now you have all these little tiny towns, these villages that there's basically, very little jobs, or maybe there's not enough infrastructure. The roads maybe are bad. It's kind of like bums living there, very, very poor areas. And now you have this opportunity to work at the data center. That's one. But then the most important one, I would say, is the fact that now you have the injection of all this cash, and they can actually build things, right? They have the money to actually invest in the bridge they always wanted to build that will create more economic activity. They could actually build that road that they needed to build, and they just didn't have the money for that. Now they do. So same thing for North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, same exact situation, right? Now they're going to have more money if you build that data center out there. So that's what today's video is all about. Just talking about how that you can build your farm in these very, very cold, you can even say like deserted areas. And there's so much power available there. It's been built out, it's been set up for you. A lot of coal, like gas-powered coal power plants out there, middle America, that has a lot of power. And that's one of the reasons why we are building our data center there as well, because it does have that power at a very good rate, very hard to find. So by the way, if you're interested in getting a megawatt for yourself, we still have that available. We have a couple left from that farm. We're talking to a couple of clients right now, so they could close any day. But as of right now, there's still a couple left. So if you're looking to get yourself a megawatt out there in North Dakota, you can do that. But then again, if you want to build a data center somewhere else, you want to build it in town, you live in Tennessee, you live in Nashville, and you're thinking, you know what, I want to have a data center somewhere in Tennessee, sure, we can do that as well. Check out our site, cryptollc.org. Are those geese? Yeah, looks like they're heading out of here. It's going to be freezing here soon, and they don't want to freeze to death, so they're probably going to Florida or wherever they're going. You see the scenery here. See fall's coming around here. Trees are getting yellow. Leaves should be start falling off here soon. They're still on, by the way. You can see those trees over there. They're still on, so it looks like September, like getting towards the end of September, they're still hanging on. But yeah, hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys like the content we're creating here. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Let us know how we are doing here. And send us over Telegram, email, comment, whatever. Let us know what type of content you'd like us to keep producing here. What subjects you want us to talk about and all of that. As you can see, this is a work in progress. Trying to get the flow going, Get used to talking to a camera in my face like this close. So hope you guys like the content. That's going to be it for this one. Until next time, goodbye.